Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Yolanda, and in today's video, I'll be honest, what was planned for today was actually another video, but that might just have to be bounced to next week because for some reason, I'll kid you not, I was literally folding my clothes because for those that don't know, I'm transferring schools, and so I have to clean this room by next Friday, and today is Sunday, and so I was planning on editing a different video for today, but I don't know, I just felt compelled, to just talk about this topic because it kind of hits close. And so basically, today's video, as you guys probably already see from the title, is the things we love that don't love us back. And so, yeah, I guess just going in a general thing, what that really means to me, at least. And I think just pouring out your energy into other people and to other things, and just not receiving that same energy back. And it's so hard, especially being a teenager during this time, and especially a college, students in such the environment that it is. Because the reality is there's a lot of partying, drinking, drugs, hookup culture and all these kinds of things. And it can be so easy, and I've seen, partly with myself and with other people, fall into it easily. And it's hard, especially seeing close friends and all, with real addictions. And not to shame in any way, but it's just the reality, being exposed to that stuff for a lot. And it's just how can you say no when it's literally your whole friend group or whatever doing things. And yeah, so it can be really easy to fall into those things, especially in the environment that I'm in. But I know it was just as much, maybe not to the extent, but it was just as much temptation back in high school. But I feel in high school it was more of if you hung around those people. But here it's just everywhere you go, everybody got a vape, or everybody got weed. You need some they got that person's on speed dial or whatever. I don't know. Once again, no judgment. If you guys do that, then it's and then it's it's your business and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of the things we pour our energy to, it does not give the same energy back. Let's say if I'm sad and I want to use my time to indulge in drinking and with drugs and stuff like that, at the end of the day, the reality is, yeah, it can be fun recreationally. Let's just be real with that. It can be fun recreationally, but at the end of the day, it's doing harm to your body. It don't love you back the same way. In the moment, it might feel good, but then the next thing we have a hangover and you got class at 8 a.m., it don't love you back. And I think even investing into people, though, sometimes they don't meet our expectations the same way that we want them to. And it can be hard, especially for me, growing up all my life, trying to love my parents, despite everything. But it was so hard pouring out myself and doing things getting defects and the police and all these people involved just to help, the situation. And it was just kind of just a slap in the face just to see that those efforts were really, that it just really got us nowhere, to be honest. It made them aware that how I felt, but nothing much was further done from that, to be honest. Hence why there's no relationship right now between me and my parents, because yeah, just an unreciprocated, and yeah, it was hard, pouring into somebody who just didn't pour in the same energy back. Because I feel when it comes to people, though, it's if they really do love you, then it's just you don't, there's some things that it's just you choose to forgive and you want to be better for that person, especially when it's your own child. One thing that I couldn't grasp, especially on my birthday, is the fact that my mom carried me for 9 months, and it's how does that feel right to not be away from your child for that long? I haven't spoken to them. It's August 7th. Last time I spoke to them. Today is currently December 8th. So that makes September, October, November, December, 4 months of not speaking. And it's just dang, does she really love me back? And it's just like and let's say other toxic environments like that, you know, not just with, you know, but there can be other toxic situations, and like pouring yourself too much into a job. You know, I used to be like so much of a hustler. Now I'm low-key jobless, but I'm about to get a job. Pray to God, knock on wood. And it's just like, I remember I worked a job for a year, and then I went to my boss and I was like, hey, you know, like a raise, something like that. And she just looked at me funny, and she's like, I'll think about it. And I kid you not, like in the next 10 minutes, I waited till like the full hour, and then I walked out of that job, because if it took you like a second or whatever, or you needed time to think about it, like I just didn't feel like my worth was valued, you know. I really didn't feel like I was valued at all in that job, because it's like there's even customers that come up to you, and even you're like, yeah, like she's such a good worker, I'm the only worker that was there for really that long. And the fact that you had to think about giving me a raise, and I already get paid $10, and she's like, yeah, you have to be full-time to really get a raise. And it's like pouring so much into things, into this job, and into this person, into customers, to not get it back. And not saying that like I was owed it, but it's like at the end of the day, you also have to know your worth in those situations. But yeah, you know. And let's say even, you know, like with dreams and stuff, you know, loving a dream and all. I know for me growing up, right on, my idol is running. And I run all the time. I run every day. I'm actually, in fact, I'm gonna run in a few hours. And I used to be so passionate, and I poured so much into the sport. And I feel like going into college, you know, it has kind of opened up my eyes that, like, you know, this was the goal, to be honest. Like, yes, it would be nice going to Olympics, but honestly, like, I worked my butt off my junior and senior year to get to a D1 school. And low-key, like, that was just it, you know. And it's just like, dang, you know, like, okay, like, what now? And seeing that, like, ultimately, like, I love my school, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I poured so much to the sport, and now to achieve my goal, now it's just like, okay, like, I want to achieve more things, but not necessarily running related, you know. I want to be able to like pursue other things, and also have like a social life, and work on the relationships that are close to me, especially like, let's say, if my sister and my brother that I still do talk to, you know, because I do feel like that there's more to life, you know, than just running. And I feel like mentally, like, I just fell into the trap of like, and I know there's people that, you know, do want to go to far, or that do, you know, not to say that I never loved the sport so much. I love the sports, but the passion that I had when I started just wasn't there where I'm at now. And it just doesn't love me the same back. Running does not. My body is like slowly crippling away, and I still want to be able to compete, you know, into race and all, but ultimately, like, I want to also pursue other things and be able to have that time, because running still means a lot to me. But also, like, at the reality, and especially my situation, like, I need to be able to make money and stuff, and do things related to my career and all. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that I loved and that I've poured my energy into that aren't returning that same energy to me. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's okay, because those things are meant to. They are temporary fulfillments. They're not meant to last. Meanwhile, for the longest, I really thought that running, you know, would solely just make me happy. But then it turned, especially this season, you know, especially not seeing the performance I wanted to, it's definitely turned into like a I feel like my worth is so based on my performance, especially being at the level that we're at. And not because of like my coach or anything, but just personally because every year I've genuinely PR'd, and to see that this season I haven't, it was just like, it was kind of a knife to the chest. I'll be real. I'm not suicidal, but it was a knife to the chest. And yeah, you know, those things at the end of the day are just unfulfilling. People are and will going to be disappointing you, and that's just the reality of life. But one thing that I can attest to, and one thing that I'm really trying to lean on in this season of figuring out my life, you know, is that ultimately, like, one person that will never fail to fulfill you is the Lord. I remember one of the first Bible verses that I learned as a child, and I actually went to a Christian school for pre-K and then kindergarten, and then I moved down to Georgia. But it was this church academy place, and I remember one of the verses that I had always memorized is John 3:16, which states, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting love." Also, verse 3:17 is also good. I forgot what that one says, but I know it like connects, intertwines, and I think it's just such a good scripture though too. You know, basically just say that, like, you know, like, God died for our sins, you know. He did the major work, you know. Like, taking the pain for the whole world is just like, but he loves us, you know, despite our sinful nature, despite, you know, the choices that we choose to make, you know. It's like hard because it's like for a period, and I feel like this past period I've been like living in so much sin, when it's just like, instead of living intentionally, and it's just like he literally did the bulk of the work, and it's just like, why can't I just be righteous and follow his words, you know? But at the end of the day, he's the only one that's fulfilling above anything, above anyone else. People will fail you, not just family, but relationships and friends. There's a lot of things in this world that aren't in your best interest, especially some addictions out there. And I know a lot of you probably can relate with people that you might know personally that are suffering from it. And let's say like parents and all, right? And it's like, it's just sad. I mean, like the other day I just heard about this girl and her mom, you know, and I was just like, dang, you know, like, I feel bad. And at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, a lot of people are going through stuff, you know, we all go through something. It may not be to the same, you know, varying of level, but we all go through stuff. And it's just hard, but at the end of the day, like, the only person that can save you from it all, that can really, like, bring you 100% peace is God. And, you know, that's one thing that I feel like now that I'm trying to leave every, you know, relation with the person with, whether it may be like a relationship or a friendship or whoever, you know, is to leave them, you know. I may not be in the best, you know, I feel like, you know, I really try to live for God, right? But there's just sometimes with some things where it's just like, I know I'm not the best version of myself, but one thing I really do try to leave people off that I'm trying to start now, which I've started honestly the past month or so, to be honest, is like leaving them with a message about God, you know. Because at the end of the day, especially for those who don't really believe as much, you know, I really try to like be that light, even if it's just a little bit at seed, it's still something, you know. And, you know, we might not have the best, you know, encounter. Things might have went downhill, but at the end of the day, like, truly, like, things may not be right between us, especially like with my parents. But I remember even one of the last messages I sent to my dad was, you know, I hope one day you find the peace of God that I have. And I know I've said other messages and very not as backhanded as I said to him, because him, okay, not gonna lie, it was kind of like a but, you know, just telling a person just to, you know, to continue to pray, to continue to lean on God. Because at the end of the day, like, he's the only one that can really deliver you, that can mend relationships, that can help you find peace, joy, all the positive things of life. And it's hard, you know? It's hard sometimes to live for him, especially because it's like you can feel him, but like to actually see him in person, it's just like sometimes it's good to like have that face-to-face, you know, connection with the person. So to not really see him like that, it's just like, how am I supposed to believe this person? But I really do promise you, he has done so much for me in his life. Right now, I may be going through a hard period, but I'm really leaning on him. Like every single moment that like I feel like I want to cry or like I want to worry, I'm just praying to the Lord, y'all. I'm giving everything, and I'm pouring so much of myself into him, because the world may not be able to give you what you need, but I promise you, I really do promise you, if we love him, he will love us back. And even in the times we might not love him as much, or might not be the first version of ourselves, he still loves you. And so that's honestly my answer to the things that we love that don't love us back. That's the only person that will love us back, always, indefinitely, no matter what we do. As long as we have, you know, time left, you know, on this earth, there's still time to change. And I promise you, if you give him your heart, and that's what I'm doing right now, even more than ever, you will find peace. You will find comfort in his love, more than anyone else or anything could ever give you. And so yeah, honestly, I'm probably not gonna edit this video because there wasn't a lot of pauses. I hope so, but I just really hope that this, you know, may have been like the little pick-me-up, or just since I just hope you guys will take this message well. I'm just gonna say that. And yeah, I just hope you have a blessed rest of your Sunday. So yeah, peace is already out.